Well, don't make this a feminism issue because it's not a feminism issue.
But it is.
When you're going out and attacking women, you're not. I'm not done. Okay? When you're going out and attacking women, you are not a feminist.
In this intense debate, Candace Owens and Jessica Tarlov engage in a spirited discussion about gender issues, inequality, and political viewpoints. Owens argues that mainstream feminism often highlights only certain voices, overlooking women with differing perspectives like Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Kellyanne Conway. She also points to overlooked concerns within underserved communities, such as family challenges linked to incarceration, while questioning the effectiveness of some high-profile movements. As Tarlov defends progressive approaches, Owens pushes back, offering a strong critique of what she sees as misplaced focus.
I think we can all agree that things have gotten ugly. It has become so hateful. It's become so divisive. Candace, is there a double standard with women on the right, you think?
Of course, there's a double standard. I mean, it's incomprehensible and indefensible, and anybody with a modicum of decency will admit that what's going on here is wrong. I can't even fathom a world where Obama's daughters are threatened with pedophilia by somebody in Hollywood in the same week that someone in his administration is kicked out of a restaurant with 7 members of their family just for wanting to eat. We would never hear the end of the claims of racism. This would not be allowed whatsoever, and it should not be allowed just because this is Donald Trump's administration.
Jessica, your response?
My response is that there are 2 issues at play here. There's the civility issue, which is what happened here with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and I personally don't think that she should have been thrown out of the restaurant. I think you can have a conversation with someone about the beliefs and what this administration is doing without denying them service. We don't deny service to people for immutable characteristics. We can legally on the basis of political affiliation, but I don't think it was constructive and it hurts the debate. The other side to the issue is the fact that Republican women want to be deemed feminists, and they want to have the same kind of clout as women on the left who are actually advocating for policies that help women, whereas the policies out of this administration actually hurt them.
Candace Owens shares her view that some progressive groups show support mainly for women who share their political perspectives, often overlooking voices from the other side. She suggests that women in the Trump administration, like Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Kellyanne Conway, are rarely acknowledged by mainstream feminist circles because of their conservative views. Owens also questions how certain policies promoted as supportive of women's rights may unintentionally overlook broader social issues, especially those affecting underserved communities, such as family challenges and financial inequality. Jessica Tarlov raised concerns about how past policies may have affected women's healthcare access, including issues related to affordability and reproductive services. However, Owens responded quickly, suggesting that these concerns often receive more attention than persistent challenges in communities facing systemic struggles. She emphasized the need for consistency, pointing out that some critical social issues receive less focus despite being just as important. Take a look.
This is not defensible whatsoever. And you sit here and you say this because you care about mothers. The basis of this is that people are upset that illegal immigrants are being separated from their mothers. Why don't you refocus some of that energy to the black community? They've been having their families separated. In fact, it's subsidized in the black community. You appreciate single motherhood. You are giving more money to families for fatherless absence. So all of this selective fake outrage when you guys do not have the same defenses for the black community is really lost on me. And it's time's up on this altogether. I think the black community has had enough of you guys being selectively outraged for parents of illegal immigrants, but not for the parents of the black community who have been separated from their family for about 6 decades.
All right,
now.
and ladies, I just want to point out,
Candace,
let's keep this civil. As I opened up this segment, there is already so much hate. Indecency in this country. So let's just keep this debate a debate and keep it civil. Jessica, your response.
I believe I was keeping it civil, and then Candace told me that I wasn't a feminist. I also believe that Candace doesn't speak for the entire.
You weren't. I said
the
left.
You actually said
ladies,
I said the left. I didn't say you, Jessica. So don't make it personal. I said the left. It's selective feminism on the left that we're seeing.
Candace Owens discusses how policies from Lyndon Johnson's Great Society era may have unintentionally affected family structures in underserved communities, suggesting that some welfare programs created incentives that led to a rise in single-parent households and increased reliance on government support. She points out what she sees as an imbalance in focus, arguing that some groups pay more attention to border-related family issues than to long-standing challenges within American communities. Owens also questions the effectiveness of decades of government spending on anti-poverty initiatives, stating that despite significant investment since the 1960s, poverty rates have not shown major improvement. She presents this as a sign that these programs may not be achieving their intended goals and could be encouraging dependency rather than lasting change.
Is that we have heard this for years, that Kellyanne Conway, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and all the women who work for this president and support his agenda aren't getting their due. They're not getting their due from the feminist community because they are advocating for policies that hurt women, that keep them in a bad economic position, that don't allow them to live equally in this society.
The conversation turns to Kirstjen Nielsen, who was approached by protesters and asked to leave a restaurant due to her involvement in immigration policy during the Trump administration. Candace Owens expresses concern over the implications of such actions, suggesting that it could lead to a troubling trend where officials from any political background may face similar treatment. Jessica Tarlov agrees that respectful dialogue is important, but emphasizes that citizens have the right to voice opposition to public policies. Owens responds by questioning whether the same behavior would be acceptable if directed at figures from the opposite political side, pointing out what she believes is inconsistent public response based on political alignment.
Because of her position and because what is going on with immigration, do you think because of that she deserves to be treated the way that she does? She was essentially forced out of a Mexican restaurant, protesters in there. You may disagree with her, but do you think the way she's been treated is fair?
I think that what Kirstjen Nielsen did in initially coming out and lying about what this president's policy did, then having to backtrack on it, puts her in a very tenuous position.
That wasn't my question, though.
I think that people should have civil conversations about it and certainly have every right as a public official to come up to her table and to call her out on her lies and this administration's lies. If she wants to leave because of it, that's on her.
All right.
But she should be open to that dialogue with the American public who is dissatisfied.
Candace, very quickly,
this is a very slippery slope. The left should stop this, because then you're basically saying that in the future this is going to be allowed in administrations that you do support. And as I said, the selective outrage for illegal families, when this has been going on in the black community, no one talks about the fathers that are separated, the fathers that are behind bars, the fathers that are buried on the south side of Chicago and in Baltimore. So again, this is completely, to me, seems like fake outrage, and I don't support it whatsoever.
Candace, that's why President Obama
we're going to have to leave
had his father's program.
Yes,
we do talk about it.
Administration that sanctioned those programs.
Candace and Jessica, we will leave the debate right there.
Thanks, Abby.
Have a good Sunday, both of you. Thank you.
Throughout the debate, Candace Owens challenges what she views as surface-level activism from the left, including online support for popular movements and symbolic gestures. She accuses some liberal voices, including Jessica Tarlov, of prioritizing public image over meaningful change. Owens argues that while there's focus on high-visibility support, deeper issues, especially those affecting underserved communities, often go unaddressed. In her view, political messaging can sometimes overshadow real solutions. The exchange explores topics like differing views on feminism, political consistency, social challenges, and public policy impacts. Owens positions herself as a strong advocate for conservative women, claiming they're often overlooked due to their affiliations. She also raises concerns about how long-standing community issues may not be fully addressed by current policies. What's your take on all this? Let us know in the comments section below.